In this video, we are going to bring you the build-up of Manchester United versus Arsenal. What a rivalry this used to be. It's just not the same anymore, is it, these clashes? We have the old Vieira versus Keane, Van Nistelrooy against Martin Keown. Oh, it had everything. Rooney always scoring against Arsenal, but then Thierry Henry always scoring against Man United. And we even had the worst of players like Fabian Barthez. Who next? Kieran Gibbs. We had some terrible players in these rivalries, but hey, we're here now, and we have two terrible teams at the moment. Kyle, who is a Arsenal fan, as you can see, Kyle will be a bit annoyed with my background, but I'm annoyed about his background. And well, Kyle, where should we begin? Because both teams inconsistent, under very young managers, of course. You know, they've certainly got big opportunities in front of them by managing two of the biggest clubs in England, you could say. So what do you think ahead of this one? Because I don't think it matters where it is as well, because there's no fans.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the fans will impact the game, to be honest, particularly the away fans, knowing how far away from the pitch they are at Old Trafford. And given that, as you said yourself, in recent years, the fans at the stadium at Old Trafford have become quieter and quieter for one reason or another. But no, I think it's going to be, I think if history is anything to go by, it's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
And recent form as well. I don't think either team's looking hugely impressive. I thought Arsenal were unlucky in the last game against Leicester to come away with nothing for sure. But I think Brendan Rodgers and Leicester, they executed their game plan to a T. That's exactly what they planned to do, and they did it. And yeah, it's a master plan.
I think it's such a weird season because, I mean, for example, United haven't actually won a game at home yet, and they've had 3 home games, which years ago that would never happen, that kind of start of a season. But then you look at Arsenal, which at the start of the season, it all looked promising. You know, the Willian transfer, Thomas Partey. I mean, okay, he's only just started out, so there's no point jumping on that just yet. But the Shield, the FA Cup from last season. But for me, I feel like with Arsenal, Man United, they've really got a challenge on their hands to even get top 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks as though there are quite a few more teams in the mix this season than there have been in previous seasons, which I think is exciting. And I mean, as an Arsenal fan, we haven't been in the title race really. I mean, some people would say 2016 when Leicester won it, but I never really thought we were in it. I think if you're not really involved in the last 2-3 months, you can't really claim to be involved in the title race. But I think we haven't really been involved in a title race for about over 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think this gives us potentially a better chance to be involved in some form. It's going to be more competitive. I think it's going to be more competitive for all of the places down to sort of 7th, 8th place. Nothing's guaranteed. You see Sergio Aguero's out for a month. Is it a month? With City?
Yeah, at least a month,
so they've got a very deep squad, I think, City, but they're going to struggle. They've got Champions League games. They've got some difficult games coming up. So even nothing's guaranteed. There's no guarantee that City will finish in the top 5, for example, this season. No guarantees for United. Liverpool haven't looked the same team. And you've got teams like Aston Villa, Everton pushing the guys at the top. So I think it's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
I think that's how I do feel about this season, where it doesn't matter who your opponent is, every game counts. I mean, look what happened at the start of the season. United had Crystal Palace, lost 3-1. So straight away, that already makes you feel like, crap, we're falling behind. And I said this, I think I said this to you, Carl. I'm sure you agreed, and you said it as well last season. Liverpool and Man City have been setting standards where they win nearly every game. So any slip-up could be the actual moment you lose the title. Not if you lose a game in November and you think we've got plenty of time to turn it around. No, there is no room to go, is there, at the moment?
No, I mean, it's very close. If you look at the table at the moment, I think as it stands, Arsenal are currently 11th, which sounds awful on the face of it. But 6 games in, I think I'm correct in saying there are currently 4 points between first place and 11th.
Wow.
Now, I mean, 6 games in, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah.
So within 2 games, you can go from being mid-table to top 2, top 3. So it really is, at the moment, anyone loses a match, if you draw a match or you have 2 draws in a row, suddenly you can be pushed all the way down. I mean, obviously the table's not that important at this stage of the season, but it does, I think it does play a part in the sort of mentality sometimes of the players, thinking, oh, we're 8th or we're 9th or something like that. Can have an impact.
Absolutely. Let's look at your team then, Arsenal. What's going wrong with that team at the moment? Because you watch Arsenal pretty much every game. Where's it going wrong? I've always said, I mean, I've said it for years, me and my dad, some of my friends, Arsenal just don't have a leader in my eyes. And again, they're not easy to find. Is that the only problem, or is there other things?
No, I think I'd say, yeah, I think that's one issue. I think as well, Mikel Arteta's still sort of trying to stamp his mark on the team. And as you know, from having seen a few managers try it at Manchester United since obviously Alex Ferguson left in 2013, it's difficult. And I think he's making a much better job of things than Unai Emery did. But obviously he's been there now for 10 months, minus the COVID period where there was no football. So,
technically,
I mean, realistically,
he's
been 7 months. Yeah. And obviously across 2 seasons and one half of a disjointed season. So he hasn't, I mean, it's hard on managers at the moment because you haven't really had the chance to get in the swing of things. And then obviously with all these measures and the fans not being in the stadium, things are very different. It's there are some players that will have been at the club for potentially over a season, and the fans will have never seen certain players play. So, I mean, players like Thomas Partey, for example, who just came in, he looks quite promising after only a couple of games. But players like that, it might be through his whole first season or more, hopefully not, but potentially more before we get to see him play in person. So,
yeah.
So obviously the fans can play a role as well. In terms of on the pitch, I think things are going better. I think we just need to start making sure we win the matches we should win, and actually challenging in the games against the top 6 teams away from home, because we failed miserably. I don't know the exact numbers, but I feel like every time we're playing against one of the top 6 teams, they put it up on the screen. Our last 20 games away from home against the top 6 teams. And it's just abysmal. It really is abysmal. I think the points that we've picked up against United are some of the only points we've picked up away from home. And I think we've got 3 or 4 draws, and that's it. It's not. I don't even think we've got a win in those games. But that's the best we've done against any of the top 6 teams, I think. It's just not good enough. You have to be beating those teams to ensure you get sort of Champions League football. If you look at the last, I think you could say 4 seasons, 5 seasons potentially, 4 seasons definitely. If you look at the points at the end of the season and then look at the results against the top 6 teams, almost every single season without fail, 1 or 2 results is enough to swing it to put Arsenal into the Champions League spots with the teams around them. And you can say, okay, well, if you picked up all the points against the smaller teams, you would have done it anyway. But with the competitiveness of the Premier League at the moment, there are smaller teams, but there's no guaranteed points anymore. No. There really aren't. Look at the way Chelsea, they came back to get a draw against West Brom. West Brom considered to be one of the lesser teams in the Premier League this season. Nearly got all 3 points. Were unlucky not to get all 3 points, but still came away with a point against Chelsea, completely unexpected. Even the game last night, Burnley been struggling, been fairly unlucky in a few games against Spurs, who, according to some, are title contenders. Definitely towards the
Don't know
top of the
about
Premier
that.
League, and they've got.
Yeah.
Well, no, I say according to some, as you can imagine, I'm not in that boat, but
I didn't
maybe
think you
different
would be.
reasons. No, you didn't think. Yeah, it's shocking that. But looking at Spurs, they've got the best combination of two players in terms of goal involvements almost in the history of the Premier League, second only to, I think it's Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard now. But I'm sure by the end of the season they would have surpassed them. And they only just about came away with the win last night. They struggled to get all 3 points. They only just did it. So
I mean,
I'm not sure there are really any easy games anymore.
I mean, the fact that Harry Kane last night mentioned him and Son have a good partnership. Then I saw an article on the BBC Sport website saying, are they the best Premier League pairing? I'm like, oh, okay, you need to win things first to even be considered that. So just to let you know, Spurs, you have to win trophies to be recognised.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever know that.
You do. You have to win trophies, and on that point as well, it's interesting seeing the other names around them because, like you say, I think it was Andy Cole and
Dwight York. Yeah.
Dwight York. There's Henry and Perez. There was, I can't think of the other names on the list, but it was noticeable because all the other names on the list are Lampard and Drogba as well.
Yeah.
Pairs that have gone on to win not just one trophy, but multiple trophies.
Definitely.
And that's what's missing at Spurs at the moment. And until they do that, they can't be considered that sort of level. And the other thing to note as well on that point is that whilst those pairs were fantastic in terms of goal involvements as the pair, there was also a lot going on around them in terms of other players contributing, which is something that Spurs are also lacking. Because those two are absolutely blowing everybody else away. But look at the rest of the squad. Look at the numbers for the rest of the team.
Near it. Yeah, exactly.
And I noticed yesterday.
There's so
something
many.
which could be detrimental. Something which could be detrimental to Spurs. I noticed yesterday. Harry Kane had the ball, attacking the Burnley final third, and he had a clear pass through to Lamela, I believe it was. Who would have been in on goal, and instead of passing him the ball, he passed the ball to Son out on the wing, then moved to try and get the ball back again. When they could have had a second goal, but he favoured passing to Son. I thought to myself, that's sort of early signs of two players where they have a great connection, but is it going to cost the team in other ways? So that's something that
absolutely. Well,
something to watch.
Well, I mean, before we talk more about the United game, what is your thoughts on the player over your left shoulder, Mr. Mesut Ozil? Absolute world-class midfielder, not in the Arsenal squad. What the hell is going on?
Supposedly, he's been left out because of comments that he made, or his political views connected to China. And Arsenal are concerned, or Arsenal were concerned / are concerned, that he is going to cause some problems with partners and with fan base and that kind of thing in China and around the world. So they've decided that it would be best to not involve him on the pitch. I think it's a big decision when you look at what we're paying him, but this is something that they're considering is financially motivated. So they're looking at this potentially costing them £100 million, let's say. I don't know what figure it would be, but far more than they're paying Mesut Ozil. So they're saying that they're better off not having him in the squad. But, I mean, if he's made those comments and he's already associated with Arsenal, has the damage not already been done? But
yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, it just seems a bit odd. I mean, especially when it was out of nowhere the other day. I mean, I guess the longer you wait, and the longer you wait since Ozil played again, you do wonder, is this guy part of the club's plans anymore? But it is a shame what's happened there. And I mean, if it was me, I'd give Ozil another chance. People can say things, and I'm sure they regret it. You know, people are human at the end of the day. It's not like he murdered someone. Because you can't get away from that. The moment you stab someone, it can't come back out. Anyway, we'll talk more about the game. Kyle, what are you expecting? Because I think United on paper, I mean, in the Chelsea game, I thought we were the better side. Only just, though, not by a million miles. I think maybe a draw was a good result. Cavani came on and looked strong. He looked like he was ready to be on the pitch, basically, after all these comments saying, oh, he's too old, oh, he's not match fit. And, well, he nearly scored on his first touch, mate. So he did all right. Surely, I mean, let's be honest, I expect United to be favourites.
Yeah, you think so, playing at home as well. Obviously, you're still looking for a win at home. But with some of the attacking players you have, you think that you're going to have chances to score against Arsenal. With the way our defence can be at times, you're definitely going to have opportunities to score. I'd be surprised if it were another 0-0 draw, put it that way. And let me just say, that was potentially the most boring match I've watched between two big teams since the 2018 FA Cup final, which sadly to say I was at.
We lost.
But yeah, that was Eden Hazard doing the damage from the penalty spot. But
that's you. What?
Yeah, no, I think you're gonna
scored.
You're gonna have opportunities to score. I mean, I think one of the issues for us against Leicester is that we had chances to score, we just didn't take our chances.
Yeah.
So again, I think I'd be shocked if either team came away with a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you're
not
right.
sure.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess based on previous results, I'd side towards a draw. I'd be surprised if it were a clean sheet for either team. So potentially 1-1, 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. And if either team takes it, I think it's going to be fairly close as well. I don't think it's going to be anything like the score behind you, Jamie. I don't think it's going to be an 8-2.
And I thought you were going towards Ozil's 1-0 or Aubameyang's 1-4 or something like that just then. Oh, no, I don't think we'll see an 8-2 ever again. Not for a while anyway. But no, I think if you ask me, I think you're right that both teams are very easy to concede. I can see it happening again. I mean, I'd like to see Twanzebe play again, but I don't think that's in Solskjaer's plans to play him in the Prem. Maybe against Leipzig tomorrow night as we record this. But I'm going to have to go for... I mean, I'm going to say United win, but I'm going to say 2-1. Very, very... I actually wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal went ahead and United turned it around, because United have been doing that a lot recently where they concede early, but they get a grip of a game and they either do come back from it or they fuck it up. So it wouldn't surprise me. So what's your final score? Goal scorers. Cavani twice. And he'll get the own goal. No, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it won't stop the second half.
Yeah, I'd say potentially I'm gonna go 2-2 then.
2-2. Oh, that's a good one. At least to be more entertaining than the Chelsea game.
I'm going to say goal scorers.
Oh.
I'm going to say Rashford. I'm going to say Bruno Fernandes from the penalty spot.
I'm not disagreeing. Penchester United, as I call them.
Aubameyang. Yeah. Aubameyang's going to finally get a goal again. And he's going to score the other goal.
Lacazette likes scoring against us, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah. Let's go with either Lacazette, or if he's not still on the pitch, Shock from Nketiah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I feel like you need to put a bet on that now, Kyle, because you've done it very specific, but yet there could be a lot of money won there.
It is very specific, isn't it? Should I tell you who's going to get yellow cards as well?
Definitely Maguire or Luke Shaw.
De Gea for time wasting in the 91st minute.
Oh, brilliant.